Hi everybody, I'm Steve McDonald and this is your midweek market update from Investors Daily Edge. Let's start with home builders. There was news this week that KB Homes posted a smaller loss than expected. While a loss under normal circumstances, in normal markets that means, would not be something to get excited about, I think we got something good here. They expect to be profitable later this year, and they've had a 5% increase in new home orders over last quarter. Now, the rest of the numbers are what you'd expect from an industry that has been decimated in the past 3 years. But there's a silver lining here. KBH, that's the symbol, has been a few steps ahead of the rest of the industry, the new house industry, through this whole housing mess, and will likely be the first to run when things turn around, and they're going to turn around. Housing in general has been bottoming to rising slightly in many markets. The real dogs, parts of California, Nevada, and Florida, are still suffering, but now is the time to consider housing as an investment, while most investors are focusing on the past history or the bad news, not the future of the industry. Take a look at the leaders in this business. It's Ryland, Lennar, Pulte, Toll Brothers, and of course, KB Homes. Now next up, I had a great conversation last week. I spent most of last week in San Diego at another meeting, but I had a great conversation last week with a 30-year veteran of the markets. And he put a name on what I have been watching develop in the markets for the past year or so. He calls it the trend of the trends. Now, what I've seen is that we are, at least for now, out of a buy and hold market. And anybody who is making money right now is doing it in very short trends, especially banks and hedge funds. The only place they're making any money is in short trends. Now, a good example of this was the oil run. It ran up to 147 a barrel a couple of years ago. And that was a good example of what I'm talking about. It ran straight up and straight down as soon as the money moved out of the play. Now, what do I see in short trends right now? Right now, I see China being near the top of the trend. Money has been pouring in there for 18 to 24 months. It's almost over for now. Consider shorting some of the big Chinese stocks, or at least keep very tight trailing stops. I mean 10% or less on your Chinese or Asian winners. Now, you may want to look at a put. It's an option. That's a bet that the stock is going down on the FXI. That's the China index. Give yourself plenty of time to allow it to work. Don't expect to catch any of these trends right at the bottom or right at the top. They move too quickly. You must anticipate them. Now, I've seen this type of run in China 3 times in the past 20 years. While I believe this will be a temporary top, stress temporary, China's still going to make money. It is a top, and you're going to make some money on the sell-off that's going to happen there. Now, the other trend that is still developing is the run on oil to around 95. Look for the Sound Profits article this month that I'm writing. I'm making a very unusual recommendation, and I expect to see a 3 to 10 time return on this play this year. This may be the king of all plays for this decade. Don't miss it. If you've been following me in these videos, you already know, and you should have pocketed at least 14% in gains on this move in oil. That's just the start here. Now, we will probably be in and out of this new oil play 3 times before the run will be exhausted. Those of you who follow Sound Profits know that with Potash, U.S. Steel, and I believe the other one is Caterpillar, we've been in them, out of them, and back into them, and they've run up so much now that we're looking to get back out of them. That's in probably a little over 6 months. That's exactly how I see this market. This is how I see you have to play this market to make money. Greece. It seems some of the EU directors want Greece to bail themselves out of their own mess. What a novel idea. They want Greece to pay their own bills by biting the bullet for a few years. Maybe we could get these people to advise our own government on debt and overspending issues. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But, there's always a but, this could mean more instability in the markets as the markets digest how well it will work. Now stay tuned. It could get dicey for a while, but I am still very solid behind the euro in the EU. I think this is a passing problem. I think they're dealing with it properly. Healthcare, one of my favorites. 30 states have already filed lawsuits to exempt themselves from terms of the new healthcare con job, as I call it. It's not a bill, it's a con job. I call them as I see them. It seems the states, and they're controlled by both Republicans and Democrats, think it's unconstitutional to force any citizen of this country to buy something he or she doesn't want. In this case, it's health insurance. Oh, by the way, did you know Congress has already exempted themselves from the provisions of this bill? They don't seem to think they should have the same coverage restrictions we have. Isn't that lovely? They're just making more friends every day. And finally, the Slap in the Face Award this week goes to Barron's, the weekly financial news publication. In a country, the US of A, that is dealing with real unemployment of greater than 20%, this publication decided this week to run front page articles. Now, I read this online, so they were front page online. I don't know where they were in the print version, of offering bargain, I stress the word, they used it, I'm not kidding, bargain vacations on yachts in the Mediterranean for $100,000 per week for 6 people. Think about that for a second and how much that is per person per day. Now, it gets even better. Just below that article is another one by some dunce who went on for 2 pages about how wonderful it is to buy $3,000 shoes, $3,000 and up, handmade in London. And what a bargain they were because they looked so good and felt just wonderful. I'm still a little ill about both of them. Are they that out of touch with the other 99% of this country? Come on, get real. Better yet, get off Wall Street and spend a little time in the heartland and the Rust Belt where folks are literally being thrown out of their homes. That's it for this week. Are you as enraged as I am about the health care bill and how it was rammed through Congress thug style? If you're a student of history, you should see quite a few similarities to the tactics used by the brown shirts in Germany in the early 30s. Email me. Let me know what you're thinking. The address is feedback@investorsdailyedge.com. For everybody behind the scenes at Investors Daily Edge, I'm Steve McDonald. I'll see you next week.